Jai Shri Gurudev. In this class, we are discussing phylum Echinodermata. Echinos means spiny, derma means skin. That means spiny skinned animals are grouped under this phylum Echinodermata. These group of individuals are exclusively marine forms. With few exceptions, they are in brackish water. And they are bottom dwellers. Bottom dwellers means they are benthonic animals. Benthonic, they tend to move to the depth of the water and there they live and they merge in the sand like that. That is the mode of their life. Therefore, they are called benthonic animals. The endoskeleton of this particular animal is made up of calcareous plates. The entire endoskeleton, the framework, is made out of calcareous structure which is made up of calcium, and these plates externally are seen as spines. And due to this, the spiny structure, the name Echinodermata. The skin, the spiny structures arise, that is the extension of the calcareous plates, and therefore these animals are called echinoderms. The animals are triploblastic, that means they contain all the three germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm layers. The animals are eucoelomates. They possess true body coelom, that is the coelom is covered with mesodermal cells. And coming to the symmetry of the animals, there are two types of symmetry present within the same individuals at two levels of their age. That is, at the adult stage, they exhibit radial symmetry. At the adult stage, they exhibit radial symmetry, whereas in the larval stages of the same species, they are bilaterally symmetrical individuals. So, in case of starfishes, even in the adult stage, they are radial symmetry, and the position of the madreporoid converts the radial symmetry into bilateral symmetry, hence which is otherwise called biradial symmetry. Due to the position of the madreporoid, actually the animal exhibits the radial symmetry, but due to the position of the madreporoid, which converts the animal into bilateral symmetrical, only one cut can give two equal arcs. Here the important and unique characteristic feature of this group of individuals are the coelom or the body cavity. The coelom get converted into a specialized functional feature, that is water vascular system or ambulacral system. In case of starfish, we could observe that is the unique characteristic feature to this particular group of individuals. And all along the arm or the rays, there will be a central disc from which the rays or the arms arise at the equal distance, and in that there will be a furrow that is known as ambulacral groove. On either side of the groove, there are sac-like structures present, and which have the capability to contract and relax, and those structures are called tube foot or tube feet or podium. Podia or podium, and these are the special structures which are meant for the locomotion of the animal. And these group of individuals are slow swimmers. They crawl like this with the help of the tube feet which are arranged on either side of the umbilical groove. Hence, they are the locomotory organs for this group of individuals. Okay, next, the digestive system in this group is a complete, we can say, and the digestive system, the alimentary canal is coiled and which is having a mouth at the oral surface. Basically, this group of individuals are dorsoventrally flattened or somewhat spherical or having oral end and aboral end. At the oral end, there will be a mouth, that is the digestive opening. Another digestive opening, that is the anus, present at the aboral end. In many of the species, this anus may not be distinguished or which is absent. Circulatory system is poorly developed. There is no heart present in it. The circulatory system is poorly developed, often which is replaced with blood lacunar system. The circulatory system is not well developed. Here heart is absent and which is replaced with blood lacunar system. The respiratory system consists various respiratory organs in various species like bronchi, papillae, peristomial gills or genital bursae or cloacal respiratory system. Thus, respiratory organs varies with the various species of the genus. The excretory system is completely absent. There is no nephridia or such kind of excretory organs present. They are absent. Excretory system is completely absent. Nervous system is also poorly developed, and there is no brain here, and which is having poorly developed circumoral nerve ring. Around the mouth there is a ring of nerve present, which is circumoral ring, and from the circumoral ring to the arms, to the each of the arms, the nerves arise, and those are called radial nerves. They are also poorly developed. Sensory organs include ocelli, or we can call it as eye, a group of light sensory cells, sensing cells are present at the tip of the arms, usually at the tip of the arms, and which will be surrounded by the minute tentacles, and they are olfactory in function, which means they can sense the sense of smell. The reproductive system, the reproduction in this group of individuals are majorly by means of sexual mode. And the two different species, sexual dimorphism could be seen here, and male and female individuals possess gonads, and these gonads may have or may not have the ducts. In some of the cases or accidental cases, asexual mode of reproduction also seen in this group of individuals, and that is known as regeneration capacity. Suppose if the part of the animal's body is worn out or cut or mechanically which is injured, the animal can regrow its lost part, or the damaged part will be regrown by the animals, and that is another mode known as the asexual mode. In some of the cases, binary fission bring about the asexual mode of reproduction. External type of fertilization is seen in this group of individuals, which means that male and female individuals give out their gametes, that is, female give out eggs into the water medium. Similar way, males give out their sperm along with the seminal content into the water, where exactly fusion of the male and female gametes take place. Hence, the fertilization is external fertilization. Development is indirect. Development includes various larval types, and these larvae undergo metamorphosis and finally become the adult individuals. That is the development, indirect type of development. Some of the examples are quoted here: starfish, sea cucumber, brittle star, sea urchin, etc. These are the examples, best examples for this group of individuals, that is Echinodermata. Let us discuss the external morphological feature of starfish. This particular species is exclusively marine form and benthonic, which lives in sea water, and benthonic means bottom dwelling animal. And bottom dwelling animal shows a crawling movement. Locomotion is very slow here, which show the crawling type of movement. The animal is dorso-ventrally flattened at the oral and the aboral axis. The oral will be a below one, the aboral is present here, and the animal is dorso-ventrally flattened. At the oral view, we could see a penta-radius type of disc present at the center, and this disc possesses the aperture in it, which is the mouth or the actinosome. Around the mouth there is a papillae, modified spines are present, and those are mouth papillae presented. The pentagonal structure is the disc of the animal. This disc radiates or give out elongated projections like this, and these are called the arms or the rays, and these are radiated from the central disc are called arms or the rays. And the basal end, this is the basal end of the arm, this is the apex of the arm. The basal end of the arms are surrounding the disc entirely. The base of the arms entirely enclose the circumference of the disc. From the base of the disc or the corner of this actinosome, there arises a furrow like this. Furrows arise from the corner of the actinosome, from the corner till the tip of each of the arms, and those are called ambulacral groove. Ambulacral grooves are present, and these ambulacral groove, the furrow, the path or the furrows are covered up by 2 or 3 rows of movable spines which can move. If this is the furrow, and those furrow will be covered up like this by the movable spines, calcareous spines are present which cover up this furrow and which can open up. If there is no necessity, which can be closed or open, and those movable spines are called the ambulacral spines. Here the ambulacral spines which cover up the groups, and some of the ambulacral spines present here near to the actinosome get modified and they become the mouth papillae. I told you earlier, the mouth is surrounded by mouth papillae, and these mouth papillae are the modified form of the ambulacral groove. External to this ambulacral spines, this is the ambulacral spine, row of ambulacral spines present, external to which 3 rows of immovable spines are present, again which is a calcareous spines. They do not move, they are straight and stout, and these structures are immovable spines. In particular, the 3rd row of the immovable spines are fabricated at the margin of the each of the arms. The 3rd row present at the margin of the arm, with which we can identify initially the oral surface of the animal. The aboral surface consists the spines. Once again, the calcareous spines are present, but they are irregularly scattered at the aboral end. In between these spines, the minute openings are seen. The minute openings could be observed with the help of lens or the microscope. Microscopic pores are present in between the spines at the aboral end. Those are called branchiae or the gills. And these gills show some elevated thread-like structures at the outer surface, show elevated structure like this. The elevated structure like this, with which coelom of the body enters. This elevation of the gill or the branchiae filled up with the coelom, where actually exchange of the gaseous material take place. That is, oxygen from the dissolved water get into the coelom of the body, and carbon dioxide exit out of the body. That is exactly the respiration take place. And at the center, almost at the center, there is a minute structure present at the aperture present, which is the anus, that is the external opening for the digestive system. Slightly away from the center, there is a calcareous plate present, which is the madreporoid, which is the sieve-like structure, calcareous button-like structure, and this madreporoid is connected with the water-vascular system. With the help of this madreporoid, the external water get into the water-vascular system, that is the opening for the water to the water-vascular system. The position of the madreporoid, here it is shown here in this. The position of the madreporoid lies between the two arms, where two arms join, and there the madreporoid is present away from the center and towards the junction of two arms. Therefore, here it is the madreporoid, and therefore these two arms are called bivium, and other three, other three arms are called trivium. This is the external feature, this is the aboral view, and this is the oral view. The oral view, always the mouth present at the lower, and animal move like this. On either side of the umbilical groove, there are a specialized structure present, and two rows of specialized sac-like structures present, and those are called podium. With the help of podium, and the podium are connected with the water vascular system, they act as a hydraulic machines. With the help of that, the animals crawl at the bottom level of the sea. As I told you earlier, this group of individuals are possessed with a unique characteristic feature, that is the presence of water vascular system. Let us discuss the water vascular system in case of starfish. The water vascular system, the body coelom get modified into water vascular system. The water vascular system consists important structures like a madreporoid, stone canal, ring canal, radial canal, lateral canal, etc. The madreporoid is the calcareous structure which is present at the aboral surface of the individual, which is the calcareous structure and which possesses minute pores over it. Small openings are present in this disc-shaped structure, and which is enlarged here. The minute pores are present. The structure ends. Thus, madreporoid looks like the sieve plate, sieve-like structure, and all the pores are provided with cilia. The cells here present are provided with the cilia. And these pores leads into tubular structure, and these tubular structures are called pore canal. Pores leads into a tubular structure, and these tubular structures are called pore canal. About 200 pore canals are present in a madreporite. In one single disc, about 200 pore canals are present. All these pore canals are merged together into a common structure like this. The pore canals merge or converge together into a common collecting duct or the tubule known as collecting canal. Pores leads into pore canal, all the pore canal leads into collecting canal. All the collecting canals further converge into a single saccular structure, wider structure or a bulged structure known as ampulla. Ampulla opens further into the stone canal. This is about the madreporite, structure of madreporite, which is a sieve-like, button-like, and calcareous plate present at the aboral end have minute pores, and all the pores leads into pore canal. Pore canals merge together form collecting canal. All the collecting canal become the ampulla. And that ampulla, this is the ampullary region. Ampulla opens into S-shaped calcareous tube known as stone canal. The ampulla is extended further into stone canal, which is made up of rings of calcareous plates. Rings of calcareous plates form a S-shaped tube, and which connect the madreporite at the aboral end with the ring canal present at the oral end. And this stone canal, inside the stone canal, the surface are provided with the ciliary structures. Further, the stone canal opens into hexagonal structure or water tube structure known as a ring canal, which is peristomial in position. That means mouth is present here. Around the mouth, the hexagonal structure present, a water vascular system, is the ring canal. The stone canal opens into the ring canal at one particular point. Inner to the ring canal, inner margin of the ring canal are provided with yellow bodies. Yellow bodies are present, and these bodies are called Tiedeman's body. There are about 9 in number. Assuming that 2 in each inner surface of the disc, there are 10, but here 9 Tiedeman's bodies are present the inner margin of the ring canal, whereas one of the Tiedemann body get occupied, the position is occupied by the merging of the stone canal with the ring canal. Therefore, Tiedemann bodies are 9 in their number. And out at the outer surface, and these Tiedemann bodies are lymphatic glands, acts as a lymphatic glands. They give out the amoeboid cells, and they involve in the lymphatic system, and they are also acts as the filtering unit of the water vascular system. At the outer surface, there are saccular structures present, sac-like, bulb-like structures are present, and these are called Polian vesicles. And these Polian vesicles are 1 to 4 in their number. 1 or 2 up to 4 number they are present, and these are Polian vesicles which acts as reservoir for the water, which maintain the water pressure. From the ring canal to each of the arms, which arise a elongated tubular structure known as radial canal. The canal which radiates from the ring canal into the each of the arms at the portion of umbilical groove known as radial canal. And these radial canal, this is the radial canal, give out the branching like this. The branches are seen, and the branches of the radial canal or the podial canal are also known as lateral canal. The radial canal laterally gives out the branches are known as lateral canal or podial canal. All these lateral canals are end up with a balloon-like structure or saccular structure, and these structures are the tube feet, individually tube foot or podium, which has the upper anterior structure, a bulged structure. This is the ampulla, and the middle narrow tubular structure called the podium, and which ends up with a plate known as sucker. These ampulla, podium, sucker put together, this particular structure become the tube feet. And thus in the lateral canal there is a valve which prevent the backflow of the water. Actually there are two rows of tube feet present, but which seems to be four rows, because the lateral canals are alternate in their arrangement. One shorter lateral canal will be followed by longer, shorter, longer, shorter. Likewise, alternate arrangement of the short and longer lateral canals gives the appearance of four rows of tube feet present, but actually there are two rows of tube feet present. The mechanism of the water vascular system, water enters from the aboral end, that is through the madreporate, through the minute pores present in it, through the pore canal which come to collecting canal, further into the ampulla, from the ampulla into the stone canal, into the ring canal, and distributed to the radial canal, from the radial canal through the lateral canal, which reach the tube feet. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of these tube feet bring about the hydraulic pressure with which the animal can move. Not only that, with the rhythmic contraction, this contraction of the tube feet empties the water in it, and which adhere to the substratum like this and expand like this. Therefore, sucking pressure operates and the animal get adhere to the substratum or even adhere to the prey. That is how this water vascular system is useful to this particular animal. Let us discuss the regenerative abilities in invertebrates. Regeneration, rebirth, which is the ability of the animal to regrow its lost part. There will be accidental mechanical injuries happen to the animals, during which a part of the animal body will be worn out or lost, and those lost part will be regrown by the animal, and this ability of the animal is known as regeneration. Let us discuss the regenerative abilities in various groups of individuals in the invertebrates. The first category, regeneration in case of porifera. H.V. Wilson demonstrated an experiment in order to show the regeneration in case of poriferans. And he took one parent sponge, and this parent sponge was chopped into numerous pieces, and this chopped pieces will be put into a silk blotting cloth, and which will be which was squeezed to distill out the water present in it. Initially, which will be made into numerous fragments and squeezed into in the silk blotting paper. And media was taken in a Petri plate, this media containing calcium and magnesium ions. The media is rich with calcium and magnesium ions. This chopped, squeezed pieces of the fragments of the parent sponge will be seeded here in the nutritive media, which will be allowed for the growth or the observation. In the observation, which was seen that due to the amoeboid cell activity, the amoeboid cells and conocytes are present in this group of cells. Basically, the sponge is made up of amoeboid cells, and the inner surface of the canal system provided with the conocytes or cono cells, and the movement of the activity of the amoeboid cells gather all the separated cells which is present in the nutritive media into group, and these groups of gathered cells are called spongellets. These are called spongellets, miniature of the sponges, spongellets. And further, these spongellets, with the utilization of the nutrition present in the nutritive media, they grow into individual sponges, newly grown sponges. Like this, from a single individual, from a single parent, there will be arise of numerous new sponges arise. And thus is the ability of the cells. The group of cells are separated here, and which will be cultured in the media, and due to the activity of the amoeboid cells, the gathering of the separated cell take place, and the gathered group of cells individually become individual new sponges. This is the ability which is seen in the poriferan groups. Likewise, the Abraham scientist worked out in the group of cnidarians, Coelenterata, that is in the hydra. He took as an experimental animal a hydra, and he found out the regeneration capacity of the cnidaria. He initially attempted or made an incision or cut horizontally to the animal. This horizontal cut makes the animal into two pieces or two parts. The anterior is the asexual part, and the posterior sexual part, because in the posterior part this is the reproductive structure present, therefore which is the sexual part and the asexual part. The polarity here it is maintained, and further which is cultured, the anterior asexual part grows the posterior sexual part and become new individual. The similar way, the posterior sexual part, the posterior pole of the individual grows the anterior asexual part, and which will become another new individual. The last part is grown by this, and here the sexual part is lost, and which growth the sexual part. Here the asexual part, the anterior part is lost, and which is grown by this. This ability is seen in cnidaria. The similar kind of experiment also done here in this group. Here the vertical or longitudinal insertion was made in the animal like this. Longitudinal incision, longitudinal cut divides the animal into two, and thus two bifurcated or branch out anterior end become two individual, two-mouthed individual. This is a single individual. Due to the incision made, this half grows another half, and the right half grows another half, and having two-mouthed individual. And further, he made another incision in this, like this. Once again, this particular animal grows and become a multi-mouthed individual or multi-branched structure individual. This is the ability of regeneration, regenerating the lost part or the damaged part into new one seen in the cnidaria. The regeneration ability is also studied in case of group of platyhelminthes with the example that is planaria is depicted here. Planaria has a body plane, dorsoventral body plane, elongated structure. The animal body can be divided into anterior most head region and the middle trunk and posterior tail region. In this experiment, the body of the animal was cut into two horizontal regions. Two horizontal incisions had been made, and which make the animal into three parts, that is anterior head, middle trunk and posterior tail region. Three fragments of the body are made, and upon culturing this particular planaria, the anterior head region, this head region grows its trunk region as well as the tail portion. And one individual, complete individual has made out of the anterior head. Thus regenerates the whole trunk as well as the tail. The similar way, the trunk region grows its last head portion and at the posterior pole which grows the tail, once again which become complete individual. The similar way, the tail grows its trunk as well as the head region, and finally which become the individual, complete individual organism. This power of the regeneration at particular pole, that is this pole gives out the tail and this pole gives out the cephalic region or the head region, which is by the activity of the intestinal cells present in the digestive system possesses the intestine. The activity of the intestine actually said to be maintain the polarity of the regeneration in this group of individuals. Similar kind of experiments are extended in the planaria, that is the anteriorly longitudinal insertion was made at the head region, and which splits the head into two equal halves, and this split head regrows another half like this, and thus right half regrows its last another half like this, and therefore this single individual now converted into two-headed structure, two-headed individual. Once again, this is the ability of individual to regrow its last part, that is the head portion is lost and new head portion is regrown. The similar way, in another individual, planaria, longitudinal insertion or the cut was made at the tail region, which split up tail into two branches or two portions, and the last portion will be regrown or regained by the animal ability, that is regeneration. Therefore, the resulting individual is two-tailed individuals. This is seen in the group of Platyhelminthes. The regeneration in case of annelids are so seen. Some of the individuals of this group show the regeneration. For example, the earthworm. As we know, earthworm possesses the anterior opening, that is mouth, and the posterior opening, that is the anus. And a specialized region, that is the clitellar region, possesses the clitellum. Suppose accidentally if the animal is cut into two pieces, for say, let us assume that cut was here at this junction, which make the animal into two parts, the first part having the clitellum and the second part does not have the clitellum. And in such cases, the portion or the part which possesses the clitellum grows into a minute earthworm. The clitellum grows the extra segments and which become a shorter earthworm like this, whereas the portion or the part does not have the clitellum will die off, which dies, which will be degenerated, because the clitellum consists all the vital organs as well as the mouth for the ingestion of the food. Hence, this particular portion of the animal can extend or can grow its last part further, whereas the other part does not have clitellum and the mouth for the ingestion of the food, hence which will be degenerated. And another thing here in the case of arthropods, also there are regeneration capabilities. For example, in the spider can amputate or detach its walking legs for the sake of escaping from the predators. Thus, last part of the legs or the appendages will be regrown. Spiders show about 20 moltings, and each of the molting there will be growth of the last part. Slowly there will be a growing. Layer by layer there will be accumulation of the cells and the last part will be seen. Therefore, the last part will be regrown with the simultaneous molting. If the animal lost its appendages at the first molting itself, at the end of the 20th or so on molting, there will be a complete development of the mouth. Suppose if the animal loses its body part, that is the appendage, at the 19th or 18th molting, there is no chance for the regrowth of entire structure. Another group of individuals show the regeneration is the echinodermata. For example, starfish. The starfish get accidentally cut or loses its body part, or in some of the cases in order to escape from the predator animals, the starfishes amputate or give out a part of the body like this. The part of the body, just like the wall lizards amputate its tail, the part of the arm will be amputated by the animal in order to escape, or mechanically also there will be a chance of losing the part. In that case, the animal possessing the central disc and other entire forearms and the last part like this have capacity to regrow its last part. A newly constructed arm bring about a new individual. In the similar way, the fragment of the arm, a small fragment also have the capability to regrow the entire animal. Initially, this particular arm, a fragment arm, grows the central disc, and later there will be budding of the arms present or take place in this group. These are the arm buds. Arm buds. But the regeneration in case of Echinodermata is very slow, which takes years together to regrow into an entire or complete individual. And this is about the regeneration capacity in case of invertebrates.